record field of 780 take dead aim on the $1.65 million first prize.
The Aussie Millions is one of the biggest poker tournaments in the world.
To have a really good structure, the blinds and antes go up reasonably slow. There's a lot of really good players that fly into town.
It's awesome because it's a little different. We get down to 8-handed right away, then 6-handed. It's just fast action.
Gathers all the Australians, a lot of pros from all over the world, so pretty clear that's why it's become so big.
It's on a world-class level. If we had majors in poker, the Aussie Millions would have to be one of them.
See if Gus Hansen could beat the odds and repeat, or if one of the other 779 will hoist the crystal and claim the life-changing riches. The Aussie Millions main event kicks off next week. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. Once again, that's next week, but there's some business to be done this week. Alexander straddling, so action going to begin with Gus Hansen.
Well, he's got 2 jacks, a big hand. We'd expect him to open for a raise here. And he is counting one out.
4,800 is the raise, and Adams will fold. Wow. Elezra is going to call. Antonius folded.
Oh, pretty weak call there. King-9 offsuit. Dwan with ace-jack on the button. Looks like he's going to call as well. Yeah, he calls.
And Tran going to throw away that ace-7. Now over to Tony G with an 8-5. They are suited, and he will call.
Wow. Robert Alexander picks up a huge hand, 2 queens. He just so happens to have Gus Hansen notched, which is exactly what you want.
I raise.
In Hold'em. He raises.
Raise.
Let's see how much he is going to raise.
All in.
Oh, it goes all in here.
Almost $70,000.
Yeah, $67,900 to be exact. Can't see how Gus can get away from this hand. Boy, this is an unlucky hand-over-hand situation. Yeah, he's going to move in himself.
Action on Elezra.
Gus was going to get sick if I limp it. Then.
And Elezra does fold.
And I don't see how Dwan can call either.
I wouldn't mind a triple up, though.
I'd like one, too.
Oh, I like that.
Meanwhile, Dwan takes a long, hard look.
Well, he's not really looking. He's going to fold. Tony G has to fold. This is just going to be a big heads-up race. Queens against jacks.
A pass. Pass.
But Tony G does give it up. And Alexander shows his queens and the predictable reaction from Gus Hansen.
He fold ace-jack.
Gus is just disgusted. This was an unavoidable situation.
Like the same.
Playing a $150,000 pot.
Same every time.
And here is the flop. 9, tray, deuce, no help.
Hansen's going to need a jack, and a jack only.
Probably should have folded. How can I?
There's a jack.
Down to 5%. A jack's already been folded. There's only one left in the deck.
The turn is a deuce.
Don't give him one.
Gus down to 1 card and 1 out.
The river is another deuce.
Well, Gus obviously very upset, but I don't see how that was an avoidable situation. Nothing he could do.
I'm sorry, Gus. I don't see how I can fold. I don't see how I can fold.
Welcome back to the FullTiltPoker.net Aussie Millions Cash Game Invitational. Well, play continues. The blind 600 and 1,200, the ante of $200. And the first action will be that of Brandon Adams. Looks at a king 6 and folds. Elezra, queen deuce. He'll throw that away. Antonius likewise folds. So does Durr. Now Tran.
Well, he's 1 off the button, and he makes an aggressive play. He makes a 4,200.
Tony G with a 9-8. He'll call.
bit surprising there. Of course, the ever-present Robert Alexander calls with 8-5 offsuit.
And Gus Hansen with an ace-queen.
Well, I would fully expect Gus to re-raise here. He has to feel like he's very likely to have the best hand. Certainly Alexander and or Tony G would have re-raised. Yes, he's going to raise.
42,900 more.
Wow.
And he's all in for 42,000 more.
And Tran and Tony G both give it up.
Just go all in and Robert will call.
I'm honestly thinking about calling.
Well, if Robert Alexander calls here, I will be shocked.
I want to call so bad, you have no idea.
I want you to fall so bad, you have no idea.
Ace 4 offsuit right
Close. Close. I want to call so bad I can taste it.
Well, you can see that Robert Alexander is just in this for the action.
Oh, wow. How much is it? 50? How much?
42.91.
42.9. Let me see how much I have left before I have to go to the bank.
He is actually counting out his chips to make a call.
This will be the sickest call I've ever made in my life.
Well, I think that if he does make this call, the deciding factor will be that if he calls and loses here, he'd still go home a winner.
I call.
Wow.
I got 5-8.
Unbelievable call. Hansen has to be thrilled, although a little scared.
I was hoping he had the ace 4.
But look at that. Even with this hand, Hansen will lose 1 out of 3 times.
Hold on. Who wants to give me odds?
42.9?
I had an 8. I had 8-9.
Okay, so you're a winner.
Alexander demonstrating that I was incorrect to credit him with using a bullying strategy. He's just been in it for the action tonight.
The only reason why I called is you called me.
You're probably making the right call.
That was at hand when Alexander had queens and Hansen had jacks. But this is a little different situation.
Whatever.
Just whatever you do, don't show me a 5, so I have to stand up.
So here is the flop. 7-7-3 nothing for Alexander.
So far, I'm
Now he's a big
slightly
favorite.
ahead. Obviously, I want an ace or a queen, but
It's over. Let's go. Come on, get over it.
On the turn, a 7 of diamonds.
I actually think the 3 is a favorite. I think the 3 is a favorite.
Gus points out if a 3 comes, it would be a split. But Alexander can win with an 8 or a 5.
And it is the 4th 7 in the deck.
Gus makes quad 7s with an ace, the nuts.
Nice hand.
No, he said he'd take it.
Oh, he ticked?
I didn't think you had a pair.
I did not have a pair.
Alexander promised to give action. He certainly delivered that hand.
So in the end, Patrick Antonius is our big winner with over 416,000 Australian dollars. That's about 370,000 US. Robert Alexander had a roller coaster ride, but finished up a little bit. Remember, next week, it's the Aussie Millions main event, a record field battling for a share of the nearly $8 million purse. Check your local listings for the day and time in your region. And that'll do it for our coverage of this year's Cash Game Invitational. Once again, Patrick Antonius, our big winner.
You can't win if you don't gamble.
And while some of poker's top names had mixed results,
When I come to a place, I give a little action.
several newcomers also made their mark.
How you feeling now? You feel good?
That's a wrap for us. For my partner, Howard Lederer, I'm Barry Tompkins. See you next week from the Crown.